For more on this development, let's speak with TVC News Akeredolu. Let's speak with TVC News Akeredolu, who has been monitoring the events for us in Ondo State. Akeredolu, what more can you tell us at this moment? Confirm for us the resignations we're hearing about. All right, I understand that we will speak to our correspondent subsequently. But let's bring in our guest. We have Tunji Abayomi. He's a lawyer and he joins us from Akure, Ondo State. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you.
So in the wake of this development, people have been talking about how this is a remarkable difference between what we saw play out when during the passing of the former president, Akeredolu, and how long it took to hand over to the then Vice President, Goodluck Jonathan. Speak to us about that provision of the Constitution in 191. Talk to us about that particular provision.
Well, it's important to understand that, like I said before, the Constitution only anticipates one governor at a time in any state. Therefore, since the governor was still alive and he was in his post, an acting governor became possible. But as soon as the governor is dead, there cannot constitutionally be an acting governor. It will mean that any act of the acting governor will be unconstitutional, because you can only have an acting governor when there is a governor alive. In view of the fact that the governor is late, you have to have a governor immediately, because you cannot have an acting governor when there is no governor. That is the reason why immediately the governor passed away, a governor had to be sworn in.
Let me just say to people that you are wearing two hats in this particular conversation, because whilst you're a lawyer and you're going to clear up some of the legal issues for us, you are also a childhood friend to now former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, and it's quite unfortunate that we're speaking under these circumstances. Our condolences are with you, but let's get to the person who Akeredolu was. I was listening to the statement being made by the now governor Aiyedatiwa, where he said that, look, Akeredolu, I just want to get that really straight. He said he described Akeredolu as a man who stood for the truth even at his own detriment. What do you think will be the implication of his death for politics in the Southwest, in Ondo State and in Nigeria?
Well, in the Southwest, I think he brought into politics a different contour. Now, you would appreciate this different contour when you listen to him in public engagement. I have not actually come across a politician that relaxes his audience like Akeredolu. And he's just an incredibly free man, free mind. A free mind in a free man, so to say. He's also very straight, very bold. You know his thinking, what he feels, his disposition. He's just a different type of politician. So there will be some form of depression propelled by his tragic departure, in my view. We certainly will miss Akiti.
And people have referred to the events that played out before his death. And some have said, look, perhaps, the legacy he leaves behind, towards the end wasn't what they knew him to be. As you know, they've said he was a remarkable governor. Clarify those events for us. You know, in line with the person you know him to be because he's your childhood friend.
Well, I think the main issue is that in his helplessness, we could not hear from him his disposition, his wishes, his desire, or even his commands and demands with regard to the development in the state. It is also unfortunate that those of us that are even his friends, because many times he would call me Akeredolu, actually on any event, and then he describes me as FOG, friend of the governor. But in the last many months, it just has been impossible to feel him, or see him, or know him, because of the terror of the illness on him. Because of this, there were lots of suspicions and ununderstandable decisions. And that was really what propelled the crisis before his departure.
Let me bring the conversation to the studio. Let's bring in senior political correspondent, Akeredolu Zubako. Ayo, it's just people have described this as a very sad day for Nigeria, from the reports in Rivers State to that of Galina Abba, and then the demise of Akeredolu. But Aiyedatiwa has now been sworn in, and I was listening to him earlier. People said that in the wake of that political crisis in Ondo State, that governance suffered. So what is the task before Aiyedatiwa now? And where do you think it should start from?
Okay, for Lucky Orimi's son, Aiyedatiwa. So let me just, as somebody from Ondo State, let me just interpret that name. Lucky, everybody knows what Lucky is. Orimi's son means my head is good. Orimi's son, Aiyedatiwa, the world is now ours. That is the literary meaning of the name.
So the
Lucky
name played out.
Orimi's son, the name just played out. Lucky, my head is good. Orimi's son, Aiyedatiwa, the world is now our own. So it's from the Southern Senatorial District of Ondo State. This man, we have his job cut out for him. He has worked very close with former Governor late Rotimi Akeredolu, and he's somebody that's, is respected, from the party and everything, in spite of the controversy that trailed his emergence as acting governor before being sworn in as the governor proper. So we have a lot of politicking to do. And there will be very short time, little time for governance. Why I said so? The timetable of the Independent National Electoral Commission by November next year, max, those states will be going, for another election. And the tenure that he will be feeling, that is the tenure of late Akeredolu, will be coming to an end by next year. So I think if in 2025, very early, but the election will be holding in 2024. So this man, as the governor proper now, all what he's going to be doing is to make sure he endears himself to the heart of people. Already, from late Rotimi, Akiti was from the Northern Senatorial District. So there's been this automatic clamor that power, it has gone to Central. Rahman Olusegun Mimiko was from the Central Senatorial District. He served for 8 years. From Dr. Rahman Olusegun Mimiko, it now went to Rotimi Akeredolu. Late Rotimi Akeredolu was from Owo. Owo is from the Northern Senatorial District. So naturally, with Lucky Aiyedatiwa, it's going to, a lot of people have been clamoring that with the power arrangement in Ondo State, that the concentration is going to be from the Southern Senatorial District. And when we talk about the Southern Senatorial District, we are talking about the Laje, SLDO, Ijos, parts of the states. And Aiyedatiwa is from this, this district. So a lot of politicking, we need a lot of horse trading. He would like to endear himself to his party members. He would like to adjust his cabinet. He is free now to adjust his cabinet as a full governor, to dissolve the cabinet legally of, the past governor It's free now. Even the texture of the assembly in terms of speakership and everything, we have to change because the governor is now by default, central in the southern senatorial district.
Two of the 8 we've seen have already resigned.
Definitely, there are going to be casualties.
But what about just in a minute because we need to go to Kano, but what about the relationship between the executive and the legislature, considering the crisis, that preceded this swearing in?
It was just because of ambition. So now that vets are separated, everybody, you can see the eyes, you can see the eye countenance of the Speaker of the Assembly. He had no strength more than to submit to the will of the Almighty God. This is predestined, so there's nothing you can do about it. So everybody will have to submit to the governor.
Interesting times ahead in Ondo State, considering that we're waiting for the appointment of his deputy. We're sure that he's going to announce that anytime soon.
You submit the name to
the House of Assembly. Thank you so much, Ayo. You've been on top of this development, since it broke. Thank you so much for your time. And also want to thank the lawyer and childhood friend of former Governor